Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Just Like You show. I am your host, Alexis Christine, and I am a spiritual mindset coach and Reiki master, helping women break through their limiting beliefs, rewire their brain, and manifest the life of their dreams. Just Like You is a podcast for all of the divine souls looking for guidance on their healing and ascension journey. We explore the depths of the universe, hold space for vulnerable conversations about spirituality and self-development, delve into the esoteric things like how to manifest, star seeds, the astral realm, and shed light on taboo topics such as plant medicine and so much more. I am honored that you are here to take this journey with me. I want everyone listening to be able to leave each episode feeling inspired and having learned something tangible to take away into their day-to-day life. If you feel called to work with me or explore this work deeper, please reach out at imalexischristine.com or you can DM me on Instagram at iam.alexischristine. Hello everyone, and welcome back to an episode of Just Like You. I am your host, Alexis Christine. I hope you guys are all having the most amazing week, had the best weekend, and are enjoying life where you're at and taking in the present moment and just living your best life. Today, I wanted to talk about how to release repressed emotions and some signs that maybe you are repressing, because sometimes we repress and we don't even realize that we're doing it. I have a huge history with repressing emotions. So I don't know if I've ever gone into a lot of detail about it on this podcast specifically. I know I have when I've been guests on other podcasts, but essentially when I was a kid, like young, I want to say maybe grade 3 or 4, I started to repress all of my emotions. And it was because of something so minuscule that I honestly didn't even realize was the cause of this until I started doing my inner child healing a year ago or 2 years ago. And I had this moment of like, holy shit, that's where it started. Like, I had literally no idea. But essentially, there was another kid in my grade who was always teased for being super emotional. We were the same horoscope sign. And I did not want to be that kid that was being teased for being emotional. And as a Pisces, we're a water sign. We're meant to be very emotional, very flowy, very all of those things. And so I did everything I could to disalign myself from that. I actually took part in teasing because I thought if I was teasing with the rest of the kids, I wouldn't then become the person who was being teased. And it was like a whole thing. And I was basically just avoiding any type of similarities between me and that person because I didn't want to be seen as emotional and I didn't want to be the next person that was being teased. And I didn't even realize that I was doing this. Like, this was a very subconscious thing that was happening. And as I grew up, I had a lot of issues with my weight. I feel like I was always on a diet. Like, looking back, I was never actually overweight until I got to university, but I was always on some sort of diet, always yo-yo dieting, and I was always being told at home like things that carbs were going to make me fat and other things like that. So I had all of these beliefs in my head, and the way that I was dealing with all of these repressed emotions, instead of feeling them and letting them out, I was eating. And so when I got to university and finally had food freedom, I ate my emotions away. I gained 50 pounds in 3 years, and it was a lot. I was 214 pounds on a 5'3" frame. So although I wasn't shopping in plus size yet, I was pretty damn close. I was an extra large basically in everything, and I was like just fitting into it. And that, I just, years and years of repressing emotions basically. And it wasn't until I started losing weight. So I had a very toxic breakup. And in that breakup, the guy had made a couple comments about my weight, which made me realize, like, holy crap, maybe I am a little bit like big, like maybe this is unhealthy and I should start doing something about it. So when I started losing weight, I finally understood that thing that people say where they make comments about working out being a stress relief or it being their form of therapy and all these different things. I never really got that. And when I started working out and actually losing the weight, I realized that it was like another way for me to slowly start letting go of all of these emotions within my system. And I didn't actually realize it was happening until I had a couple friends say to me that I felt different. So previously, I was super moody. I was always on edge. People had to walk on eggshells around me. You never knew what was going to set me off. I was never in a good mood ever. Maybe I was for like, like a little moment passing here and there, but like I was very much like that moody teenager kind of vibe, always arguing with my parents, that sort of thing. And my friends basically were like, "You are just so much happier. Like you're a whole new person. What did you do with the old Alexis?" And that's when I started realizing that my mental health had changed and I was actually a lot happier. And working out had been this way for me to get rid of these emotions that I had been harboring in. But I was still repressing. So while I had figured out a way to release some of them, I was still being set off at random moments, things that had absolutely no reason to make me cry. I was bawling my eyes out and just unleashing. And it made me realize, like, while I am releasing some of these emotions in my workouts and through exercise, A, it's not releasing all of them. I still have so much left inside me. And B, I still haven't learned how to process them as I feel them and really learn to release as I feel. So I'm still in that process of repressing. And this is how I realized I needed to release. Like I literally, it's honestly the craziest story. I was at the Porter's Lodge at my building, so like where you get your packages and stuff. And they were telling us about a noise complaint or something that had come from our flat and like honestly being massive dicks about it. None of us were home. It wasn't us. And so I was arguing with them back and all of a sudden I just burst out crying. And again, like there was no reason to cry. It's not like they were kicking us out or doing anything like that. They were just basically giving us like a slap on the wrist. And I just burst into tears, which ended up working out in our favor because it made him really uncomfortable and the conversation stopped and off we went. But it was a sign that I needed to be doing more to work on learning how to feel and process as these emotions came up instead of repressing because there was still so much in me that needed to be let out. So I want to take you through some different ways to learn how to feel your emotions and then also different ways you can start releasing them if you're like me and you've already been repressing. And you don't have to do all of these things. It can be like you can take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I'm just going over all of the different things that I've used and that I've come across and that have been really helpful along my journey so that hopefully something resonates with you and can help you along your journey too. So the first thing I want to talk about is journaling. And I have even still the biggest resistance to journaling. I don't know what it is about it because when I was a kid, I used to write in my diary all the time and I freaking loved it. But for some reason, as an adult, journaling feels like a little icky to me. Like I just, it doesn't sit well. I don't really like it. But what I have found is that if I'm in a place where I'm like really emotional and I don't know why, or I'm super stressed about something, or people are like, I'm on edge, everyone's just kind of pissing me off, like I will just open my journal and I will brain dump. And if you struggle with knowing where to start, so if you're looking at this blank page and you're like, I don't even know what to write, you can literally just start writing, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to write, and do it over and over and over again. And you'll get into this phase where your pen is just flowing, and eventually your brain will stop thinking and it'll start giving you things to write down. And then it'll just start pouring out of your subconscious. And it's a way to release everything that you're holding within you that's been pent up within you. And one of the other things that I realized I was doing, so with journaling, I write everything in cursive, and it's just like a me thing, but I really hate that they've stopped teaching cursive in schools. It's like the most beautiful form of writing and it's a dying art, and I don't want to lose that skill. So what I've been doing is in my journal, I write everything in cursive. I make sure I go really slow and like, have it all pretty. And I think that's also why I was having some resistance to it because I like my life, I tend to just speed through things. I try to get everything done as fast as I can. And it's something that I'm working on, trying to be more in the present. And I realized that with journaling, that's part of the reason why I was having resistance to it because I would have so much in my brain that I wanted to get out on the paper. But because I was writing in cursive, or even if I were printing, it's like my brain moves so much faster than my hand does and I couldn't get it all out. And then I discovered this other way of journaling, which is so crazy. I can't remember what it's called, but basically you're not even actually printing, which is so crazy. So you just take your pen And whatever is coming to you out of your brain, you just freaking write it down, but you don't actually have to form the letters. Like my pages in my journal sometimes literally just look like waves of an ocean because I'm writing it down so fast as my brain is thinking it. And what I realized is it doesn't actually matter if you're physically writing it down on the paper or not. What matters is that you're getting it out of your head and you have the motion of writing it. So it's still being taken and being released out of your system. And it has been such like, I can't even explain to you how much this has changed my life. I still have resistance to doing it. It's not something I do often. I really wait until I'm at that breaking point where I have no other choice. But the things that come out, whether I'm doing like just slowly cursive writing or if I'm doing this other one where you're writing super fast and just getting everything out of your brain like a massive brain dump, is there are so many things that come out that I didn't even realize were bugging me, or I start connecting the dots between different things and I have so many aha moments, and it's been life-changing. So amazing. So this is one of the best ways where if you know that you're repressing, or if you are in like a bad mood about something, or if there's someone specifically that's just irking you and you don't really know why, there's just something about them or about a situation, or there's just, you don't really understand why you're feeling a certain way, start with journaling. It is so good, so intuitive. You can really just let it all go. And then if you're scared about people reading it after, just fucking burn it. Like, who cares? Get rid of it. You don't need it again. It's just a tool to help you get everything out of your system. And then obviously if you want to keep it so you can look at it again after and go back and start connecting the dots, like, you can do that too. But you don't have to keep it, which is again why it's great that you can just do this little squiggle situation where they're not even actual words, because it's about getting it out of your system. It's a way of releasing, right? So that's tip number 1. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about to help you release your pent up emotions is breath work. And I have a whole episode about breath work. If you guys want to go back and listen to it, I'll link it below. But basically, breath work is the awareness and control of your breath. And this helps you change your physical, mental, and emotional state depending on the type of breath work you do. There's like 5 or 6 different types. But basically, when you're breathing, you're using your diaphragm, and your diaphragm regulates the flow of energy throughout your body, specifically in Chinese medicine, which, if you guys know, I went through a whole phase of being so obsessed with Chinese medicine. It's also said to be the bridge between your conscious and unconscious emotions. And this is where we store our unconscious emotions, tension, grief, all of those types of things. So when you're breathing and you're putting everything through your diaphragm, it really helps to release a lot of what we have stored there. Because when you're doing breath work, you're getting out of your head, okay? So you're not thinking about it anymore, and you're getting into your body. You're reconnecting to your body, to the feelings, and you're connecting to your soul. You're connecting to your spirit, and you're really, when I say you're getting out of your head, you are out. Like, you don't have room to think. You are just focusing on your breath. You're connecting to how your body feels when you're breathing, where you're feeling the different sensations. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow, and you're focusing. You're breathing in and out, in and out, in and out. Sometimes you're holding it, sometimes you're not. There's so many different ways to do it. But basically, as you're going through this, your body starts releasing stress, releasing tension, releasing emotions. And there's been times where people have to stop in the middle of breath work because they burst into tears and they're releasing so much of what's in them. And I just want to say, don't be scared of the tears. Don't be scared of the feelings that are coming up as you do this. Just let them flow. Don't think about it. Just let it out. Let it flow. Because although maybe it's not the most amazing feeling at the time, like, I don't think there's really people who enjoy the feeling of crying as it's happening. Afterwards, you feel so much lighter. You feel so much better because all of that was being held within you, that was energy bouncing around trying to find a way out, has now been released, and it's not in your system anymore. And I promise you, you will feel 10 times better. And if you're just feeling in the moment a little bit of anxiety or stress, there's a reason why they say take a deep breath. Because when you breathe slow and when you're breathing steady, so really slowly in, even slower out, it calms your autonomic nervous system, and it allows you to slow your heart rate, to slow your whole system down, and it reduces those feelings of anxiety or stress in the moment. So that's a really good tip, actually. When you start feeling these things, just slow and steady breathing. 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. maybe like 5, 6 times until your body starts to calm down a little bit. Okay, the next modality that I want to talk about is EFT tapping, which literally stands for emotional freedom technique tapping. Okay, so if that doesn't give it all to you in the name, then come on. But basically, you may have seen this before, either on like one of the Real Housewives shows, or you might have just seen it come across on Instagram or something else. But it's basically when you see people like tapping in different spots on their faces or on their chest, and they're repeating something. So the tapping is basically on the different meridian points. So as I mentioned before, I'm like really into the whole TCM situation, Chinese traditional Chinese medicine, and there's 12 main meridians within your body. And so when you're tapping on these different meridian points. And what EFT tapping is basically a way to relieve feelings of fear, anxiety, stress, different like trauma, memories, and limiting beliefs, those sorts of things from your system. So you release them and rebalance the meridians within your body, the different energies within your body. And it can just help you get all of these emotions out, all of these unhelpful thoughts out, and really reconnect back to yourself. So it's one of the most powerful ways to release emotions when done properly. You would need to do this with someone who is trained in how to do it. If you wanted to book a session and to do this, we can totally do that. I can take you through any of the things that I talk about here today. But it's not something that you should do on your own unless you've taken a course and learned how to properly do it, because you'll need to know where exactly to tap. You'll need to know what are the things that to say to help release the emotion. So you're going to want to go through, if you're doing this with a practitioner, they'll talk you through what it is you're feeling. They'll figure out where some of the issues are, where some of your limiting beliefs are, those sorts of things. And then there's specific things that you say as you tap, and they'll plug in the things that are specific to you. So if you're going through heartbreak and you're dealing with a little bit of like low self-confidence and that sort of thing, they'll tap in, they'll plug in the different words or the different beliefs that you're struggling with into those sentences as they're tapping and going through it all with you, so that it's connected to you, you're connecting to it. And then as you go through and you tap on all these different points, you start to release all of these emotions. You start to release these limiting beliefs, these negative thoughts from your system, and just get them all out. And again, you can break down into tears in the middle of this, but normally afterwards you'll feel a lot better. You'll feel a lot calmer, a lot less stressed, and just it'll be like a whole new energy within your system. So it can be a really, really cool way to release the emotions. Again, that's EFT tapping. If you don't know much about it, you can Google. There's a lot of information online. I'm not going to get into all of the depths of it, because that could be its whole episode on its own. But yeah, it's so good. The next thing is, this is less of a tip on how to release and more how to feel it. Okay, so when you have an emotion come up, it has been scientifically proven that these emotions only last for 90 seconds if you allow yourself to feel it fully. So what that means is no holding back, no repressing any part of it, no being like, I don't want to feel this right now, and pushing it down to the side. If you allow yourself to just feel everything flowing through you without any resistance, 90 seconds and it's done, okay? That's a minute and a half of your life. And I know that this can be hard, but basically anything that you feel after those 90 seconds, if you have felt the emotion fully, is the story or the memory that we've attached to that emotion or to that situation that we're feeling emotionally about. It's not actually you feeling the emotion anymore. So I know it's difficult, but as you feel something come up, if you're in public or you're in a room with people where, you don't want them to see you being emotional or anything, just excuse yourself. Be like, sorry, I'm just going to run to the washroom real quick. Or, like, I need to step out to take a call, whatever. And a minute and a half, literally 90 seconds, just allow that feeling to go through your body, and then you're done. And this is a way you can learn to really feel the emotion. So close your eyes, take some deep breaths, and physically identifying where in your system you're feeling it and acknowledging it's there. So don't try and push it away. Don't try and stop yourself from feeling it. But say you're feeling like it's swirling in your stomach, just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and be like, okay, I feel it in my stomach. Cool. This is where I'm feeling it. keep taking some deep breaths and just notice what happens to it. Does it stay? Does it get worse? Does it get better? Does it move to a different area? Maybe you start feeling a random pang of pain in your thumb. Be like, okay, I'm feeling something in my thumb. And just recognize that it's there. Don't try and get rid of it. Don't try and feed it. It's just simply about acknowledging and letting it flow. And what you'll notice is as you're doing this, you're learning to identify where in your body you're feeling these emotions. And by identifying and acknowledging it, you're allowing yourself to feel it and then let it go. So this will take some practice, especially if you don't like feeling these things. Like, it's never pleasant, right? To feel the like turning of your stomach, or to feeling your throat get all choked up, or to feel your head start pounding. Like, these feelings of stress, anxiety, upset, anger, sadness, everything. They're not fun things to feel. But if you really take the time to just recognize where it's happening in your body and allow it to just happen and then move through you, that is a way of feeling and processing and then releasing the emotion. So that's a really good thing to just practice, especially if you're on your own. If something that you see online triggers you, just sit with it, and within 90 seconds, it'll be gone. So those are my tips today for learning how to feel and release your emotions. I hope that this helped. If you have any questions about any of the techniques that I shared, please feel free to send me a DM. My Instagram is at iam.alexischristine. The show Instagram is at the Just Like You Show. You can also reach out to me on my website, iamalexischristine.com. And if you guys wanted to book in for a session or even a free discovery call just to kind of learn a little bit more and see how we can work together, how I can help you with some of these things, feel free. You can get that link on my website or on the link in my bio on my Instagram and my TikTok. More than happy to help out. The discovery call is completely free, so I would love to chat with you guys more. I hope that this was helpful for you today, and if you guys try it, let me know how it goes. Let me know what worked, what didn't. Maybe I can help you kind of connect with one of them more if it didn't really work. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. The light in me acknowledges the light in each and every one of you, coming from someone just like you.